Yes, all right then, lads. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Why not talk about a transfer miracle? Why do not talk about the magic that could happen in the last days of the transfer window? With the reports being reported that Mikel Arteta flying to USA was actually, there was something in it. There was something. So we're going to be discussing those reports. Was there something in it? Could we see something big? People, reports anticipating that we could see something big in this January transfer window. How many days left to go? Around 6, really. I'm devastated. I'm losing hope. I'm moving to that. I'm slowly moving to that. You know, period or zone where you cannot really convince me either ways. As you know, I'm still feeling like we could have done good business in this January. We've pulled, we pulled off a stinker, and that's it. But reports indicating that Mikel Arteta flying to USA could be talking to Stan Kroenke to inquire about the budget and whether they will sign in a striker. With leading reports say that there could be something huge out of that meeting, because it really never happens for Stan Kroenke to meet an Arsenal manager, the likes of Unai Emery. I think they've only seen him in photos, like many of us, and probably seen him on TV in interviews. But could Arsenal pull off something big? That's the big question. And what I mean by something big is two huge transfers for me: a big striker and a big central midfielder. Because our top 4 hope relies on the last 6 days. I mean, it's funny how we had all this time and we could do whatever we wanted during that period, and now we are relying desperately, clinging on to the last, how many hours are those? I can't really compute it in hours, but the last 6 days, 24 hours times 6. What is that? So could we see something big? Are these reports to be believed? Can we believe that the meeting between Mikel Arteta and Stan Kroenke will produce something big? It's been a very, very, very slow day for Arsenal in terms of content. It's been a very slow day for Arsenal in terms of spirits. But this year and the Athletic have been really reporting around Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Arsenal planning on taking advantage of the situation of Everton. Everton, we know at the moment, are looking at Frank Lampard desperately to find at least a new manager, someone who can just drive them off the line. And also Romano has come out and said this January, do not forget these names. Do not underestimate these names: Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes, with Sky Sports including and saying that yes, Arsenal have not given up on Bruno Guimaraes this January. It might not be as easy as they want it to be. It might not be as easy as Arsenal fans want it to be, because now, for me, what I want is to wake up on my Twitter handle or on my news feed and Arsenal have signed in someone. I don't care about personal terms and everything. Just get him in. Let him not do a medical. Bring him in, and we can discuss the rest later. But because we're going to be discussing much of the latest around this club in terms of transfers, I've seen something about Houssem Aouar as well. Aouar really, really trending. But it looks like Houssem Aouar in January is not something that we are looking at. It's not something that really Arsenal are looking at. But we will try to talk about Houssem Aouar, because at this time, Arsenal do not want anything negative. We want positive. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be speaking positive, deluded vibes, right? I'm speaking in positive, deluded vibes. I'm not speaking objective. That is, let us leave that for 99 Sport. I'm not speaking here negative. Let us leave that for Spurs and United. Let's speak positive, right? So, to begin with, let's start off with reports indicating that Mikel Arteta is still very, very serious and very optimistic about signings and reinforcements in this January. And that is the reason why he flew to USA to meet owner Stan Kroenke. Now, we've got to understand, lads, that the relationships between Stan Kroenke and Arsenal have not been poor only on terms of Kroenke and the fan base. They've been very, very poor. Like the managers and the people running this club, they're also very, very distant from him. They're very look. This is a guy that it's like marrying. I think what he does is he marries a wife, gives her a mansion, and forgets about her. That is what the managers have been to him. Because he's rich, he's got the money, and when you're excited to be an Arsenal manager, really, Unai Emery joins Arsenal. It's a big club, despite the fact that Unai Emery came in from PSG, but also Arsenal is still a very, very big club. So that's what he's been doing. He's been giving you a job and then throws you away under the bus, hangs you out to dry. But this is kind of different. And we're going to try to look at the dimensions, in this, and maybe try to understand, could it be that Mikel Arteta is the chosen one? Could it be that Mikel Arteta is the one that Stan Kroenke is now really ready to back and also ready to believe in as Arsenal manager? So I've told you, I reported in the morning. If you watch the show, I'm really, really disgusting because I should be, adding time zones. Are they called time frames or time stamps in the videos? I'm going to start doing that, but also clipping those videos to 99 Sport. Please make sure you do utilize that channel. It's going to be very, very helpful to you. But so the point, lads, the point is Arteta flew to USA. Amidst all this transfer stress, because if you look at the last comments Mikel Arteta made, he said, look, bringing in new signings, that is what we planned. That is what we wanted. However, other factors are really letting us down. Other parties involved in these transfer deals are really letting us down. And I've seen that today as Juve have completed the signing of wonderful young potential talent Dusan Vlahovic. That is done. I think it's going to be around 75 million euros. Around there. I don't know if that deal is going to involve Kulusevski, but I'll try to find out more. I won't tell you really because the information is sickening to Arsenal hearts and sickening to Arsenal minds. So Arteta, with all that kind of frustration, he flew to USA and met Stan Kroenke. And reports now, a couple of hours later, have started kind of, I don't know whether these are revelations or they are anticipations, because they're very, very, those two are very different, and especially in terms of transfers. Anticipations are leading, because in transfers, it's all about anticipation, isn't it? It's all about anticipation. It's all about thinking. It's all about wishing. It's all about, transfers. That's it. And that's why it's a very, very difficult period. And it's so sad that they don't even end, even when the windows close. They do not actually close. But so reports now have started giving us bits and pieces of information. One, that Mikel Arteta went to Stan Kroenke to beg for a budget, to beg for an extended budget, and he wants a mega signing this January up front. All the signings available, including Isak, including I was supposed to say Declan Rice, including DCL and Jonathan David, it would take something very astronomical to lure them to the Emirates. With Alexander Isak, reportedly not even interested at the moment in a move to Arsenal this January. Luka Jovic would be the only easy deal, but you look at the other deals. Patrick Schick, Leverkusen are like, right, it's okay, 50 million. He's valued at around 50 million. Jonathan David, the same story, around 55 million. The price has been said. And with Alexander Isak, it's all about triggering the release clause, which is around 90 million. For this year, Everton will be looking not to sell. That will be their priority. But if there is any possibility that they will sell, it is 50 to 60 million. So the reports are claiming that Mikel Arteta actually went to meet with Stern Kroenke so that they could produce some magic, so that they could extend that budget, make that kind of budget bigger, and that is where our focus is going to be, lads. Right? That's where our focus is going to be. We'll dive into the links later, but do you think Arsenal should be given a huge budget in January, or should we save our budget, wait until the summer, look around, understand whatever is happening and all the conditions around, and try to go for sensible signings? Do you think we will be able to do what you call objective signings in January, or we will be doing panic buys? Because that is the last thing we want to do. You don't want to do a panic buy in January, then you've missed out on Champions League, then you miss out on Europa League, and then this panic buy is this panic buy is on a 4-5 year long-term contract. Whether they are doing well or not, they're gonna earn their money and they're gonna be there for at least 3 or 2 years. You don't want that, and definitely we don't want that. But looking at the positive picture, Arsenal, we want this meeting between Kroenke and Arteta to to bear some fruit, right? We want it to bear some fruit. Reports around are still indicating that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's move out of Arsenal is still very likely, and that is very, very positive. Like I promised at the beginning of the video, it's positive because we know that Aubameyang will not leave. Because this is Arsenal. Oh my, come on, this is Arsenal. How can I be very, very confident? But at least it's been reported that Aubameyang will not leave, minus Arsenal bringing in a striker. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. It is massive. And when we get to that time when you guys are going to be calling in and giving me your thoughts, and I wish you do, guys, call in, because it's this show that I've dedicated to phone calls. You lads will be calling in and you'll be sharing your thoughts with me about whatever is happening with the club. So you'll be able to call in. But what I want to be optimistic about is I don't think there is a reason why Mikel met with Stan Kroenke. Of course, there are a couple of reasons, because the club is now doing better, and we are back into the top 4 race. By the way, I think Stan Kroenke would be really impressed with a young manager that has just made his team get back to respectable ways, get back to that level where everyone feels like, oh, Arsenal is back in the top 4 race. I mean, can you believe it? Arsenal is back among the big 4, right? They're putting in competition with West Ham. They're competing with Tottenham. Spurs are struggling. And United is struggling, and Arsenal struggling really. But you can see that they're fighting. They're putting in a fight. So maybe Stan Kroenke is now moved by the project that we are running, and is willing to get on board, and is willing to get to be part of it. I don't want to be very optimistic, but I want to move back a little bit. It was around 15 days ago, the Guardian and the Athletic had reported that Stan Kroenke would allow Mikel Arteta and would back him in January. He would be allowed to spend. Actually, the Athletic went ahead and said Arsenal would be spending on new signings and reinforcements on their squad, despite the fact that Kroenke might add them more money or not. If Kroenke decides to add us more money, then it would be it would entirely be Arsenal spending their money as well as that of their owners. But the Athletic said if Kroenke decides to stop the funding, Arsenal were very determined to go ahead with a spending spree, even in January and in the summer, should the right priorities and should the right opportunities actually manifest themselves. So there's a big question there. Has Mikel Arteta found his priorities? Because according to the Athletic today, all our priorities have been a little bit difficult to do this January. So what is going to come out of that meeting? I mean, my eyes are really, really open. My eyes are very, very open. What's going to come out of that meeting? What are we going to hear from Arteta and Stan Kroenke's meeting? Is it a casual meeting, which I think is uncalled for? Is it a transfer meeting, which I think is really urgent? and desperate at the moment. That is the point of discussion. Do you think this meeting will give us some transfers, some transfer hope, something new, or do you think it is a window that is gone? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Let us start off with Housem Aouar today. In the links that have come out in the last few hours, ever since we were live, Housem Aouar is back, and Get French News have said they're called Giffen. Have actually said that Housem Aouar has changed his agent and is now represented by ICM Stella Sports. Now we know that when Arsenal were interested in Housem Aouar, a couple of months later, when that deal collapsed, news from the Athletic and Goal.com actually said that the agent of Housem Aouar had proven to be a problem. He was actually demanding for a very crazy agent fee, for very, very crazy agent fees, and that's why that deal really collapsed. Arsenal were frustrated and they decided not to go back for Housem Aouar. So Housem Aouar has changed his his transfer agency, and the reports and talks around it is that maybe he's looking at this as an opportunity where Arsenal is desperately looking for a central midfielder. Maybe that, but I don't see it in that way. I see it as one move for the summer. I think he's looking at it in this way. I've been on the transfer market for 2 consecutive markets, and I've stayed put at Lyon. Surely, this is his time to move. This is his this is his zone. If he doesn't move in this window, it's going to be sickening. It's going to be saddening. So he's changed his agency. I don't know whether Arsenal would try to go for Housem Aouar in January, but even if we did, I still feel like it would be difficult. It would be a very, very difficult one to do. It'd be one the Arsenal could struggle with, and we don't want to struggle. We know Lyon at the moment are one of those clubs, especially Jean-Michel Aulis, one of those guys that are really hard to negotiate with. Right? He wants the money. But he acts like he doesn't want the money. He always sets. He sets terms, and deals have to work on his terms. He's setting ultimatums and things like that. The last thing we need to do as Arsenal is go back into that Housem Aouar saga. Please and please, let's do something else. Thank you. Let's do something else. Let's do another deal, right? So, but Housem Aouar, popping up in among the transfer, wanteds of Arsenal in the past couple of hours. But the strongest story in the last few hours, the 2 strongest stories have been around Calvert-Lewin and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So the story about Aubameyang is Arsenal do not expect Aubameyang to join the squad in Dubai. I repeat, Arsenal do not expect Aubameyang to join the squad. Which is currently in Dubai. He's not wanted there. He's not expected there. The reasoning behind it, according to authentic reports that I've seen, is his transfer is still a priority to Arsenal. Shipping out Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is still a huge, huge priority to Arsenal and Mikel Arteta and whoever is running the business at the club. They believe Aubameyang should be leaving as early as January. We do understand that a couple of offers have actually come in for Aubameyang, especially from the Middle East. He doesn't want to consider them. At the moment, he is not considering them. He's actually looking at Europe. He's looking at a club around Europe. Honestly, at the moment, there is no club that I know that is in contact with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Europe. The only 2 clubs I can legitimately report about are Al Hilal and El Nasser. Only those two. The rest, no. I'm not one to report about them because I've not seen anything legit around there. But where it is kind of a ripple effect, and I think with Arsenal it's been like that. Our transfers are more of now a ripple effect, right? If you look at if you really look at the euphoria around us getting in a striker, it depends on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, right? It depends on Pierre Aubameyang. Arsenal would love to get in a striker, but then they don't want to get in a striker before Aubameyang moves on. Arsenal would love to get in a striker, but they cannot let Arsenal would love to let lead talisman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go, but they don't want to let him go before they get in a replacement. Adebayo, what is his other name? Emmanuel Adebayo was speaking about Arsenal and the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang situation, and he said he was asked whether there is a way for him back in at Arsenal, and he said, Arsenal, no, they are not forgiving. Arsenal are not forgiving. I was watching Curtis' show today, Big C. I really love. I rarely love watch his show, but I really love him. Especially, I watch Talk His Chip on FTV, and he features there, regularly now. But and today he was speaking about the fact that maybe we need to get some extra information about what really happened with Arsenal and Aubameyang. What happened in between there? Yes, we've had a couple of reports from James Ole about Aubameyang being a repeated offender, but Arsenal need to come and talk to us. Arsenal need to come and tell us that this guy was a repeated offender, and that's why we broke off. We need to know, because if you look at the situation between Chelsea and Romelu Lukaku, we got the information on the side of Romelu Lukaku, and also Chelsea came out and gave us their side, and the situation was cooled down. It was the same situation with Anthony Martial and Ralf Rangnick. Rangnick comes out and says Martial refused to play for Manchester United. Martial comes out and said, I've never refused to play for Manchester United, and I will never refuse to play for Manchester United. And Rangnick is like, let him go to Sevilla, right? So we need to know. We desperately, and personally, I would love to know. I would desperately love to know what exactly happened. Desperately. But the story around Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, there was a reaction from Emmanuel Adebayo, and he said, I've been at Arsenal. My situation was a little bit different, but I was in there. I was there. When I was at Arsenal, I was faced with somewhat a similar problem, and things really never went down as good as he wanted. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, his transfer directly affects who comes in and who doesn't come in, whether we get in a striker or we don't. As simple as that. But moving on, lads, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin has been trending in the last, I should say, 3 or 4 hours, and the reason is the Athletic have not stopped reporting. They have not stopped reporting about him since morning. With the last story saying the prospect of joining Arsenal would appeal to Calvert-Lewin, and Arsenal would love to try a January transfer deal. Now, in the morning, I reported about those 2 quotes that were put up. The fact that the player would be happy to join Arsenal, and he sees the ambitions of the club as fitting and in line with those. And the Athletic claimed that Calvert-Lewin looks at joining Arsenal as the perfect stage for him to impress Gareth Southgate at England, at the English national team. And I think it's not halfway true, but 100% true. If Dominic Lewin gets that move, because again, Harry Kane, despite the fact that he's he's in the form of his life at with England. He's not doing so well with Spurs, but he's lucky at the moment that the likes of Jamie Vardy, Watkins, Ings, all of them are not really doing well. This year has been affected by injuries, and Patrick Bamford is this season has been trash at Leeds. So England only remain with one option, and that is that is Harry Kane. For me, the thinking around Declan Rice is, and this has also been mentioned in a couple of tweets, is that Everton will be looking at two things. They'll be like, could we get relegated? Like, could we get relegated? If they consider that, they might actually cash in on him, right? I don't expect Declan Rice to push for a transfer, but I think if Arsenal put some pressure, we could get some reaction from either Everton or the player. So it looks like the Athletic, for them, are convinced that Arsenal will try to go for DCL over Alexander Isak. We will try to go for Lewin over Isak. We will try to go for Lewin first and then Isak second. Because but all of them are really complicated deals. Very, very complicated. Very complicated. But and like I said on the thumbnail, it would take a miracle. It would really, really, for me, be a miracle if Arsenal could pull one off. It would be an absolute sensation. Not even a miracle, but an absolute sensation. It would be absolute sense. Can we get that? Can we get those deals done? Especially Calvert-Lewin or Isak. I'm one to watch. Right? I'm here to watch. I've done a video, a live stream. Thanks everybody to everybody who joined me on 99 Sport, and we talked about Alexander Isak's move to Arsenal in depth, talking about whether Arsenal should pay the 90 million and a couple of other questions that we answered. Right, we'll do the same tomorrow around Declan. Why do I say Declan Rice? Around Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We'll do one tomorrow on 99 Sports. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we'll dive into what kind of player he is and what kind of player Arsenal need. I feel like despite everything, he's above Isak. Played in the Premier League, I think his goal scoring prowess is above Isak's, and is that at that age where you feel like maybe a little bit more proven than Isak, and substantially cheaper, unless Real Sociedad will be willing to negotiate. But if they're not willing to negotiate, then Isak's Lewin's 60 million, which includes a premium for being English, is substantially better. So we would do that. I mean, who didn't want to do such a deal? It would be really amazing for Arsenal if we could pull it off. So DCL in the news as well, really. But in terms of a midfielder, a couple of names are lined up, and I'm going to report about Guimaraes. Gonna report about Guimaraes and what Sky and what Sky Sport have actually put out, and we're gonna discuss, because I don't think we can discuss Guimaraes and DCL tomorrow. It will depend. It will really depend. But it would be nice. It would be very, very nice if we could discuss them tomorrow. Guimaraes and DCL on 99 Sport, right? So make sure you're really tuned in onto the channel, because I might just make it a side Arsenal channel where we discuss, players in depth. But to think about it, lads, this is the latest, information that has come out, and I will retweet this from Eduardo Hagan so that I can really find it again, because I need to find it again desperately. Yeah, desperately. Give me a follow on Twitter for these tweets, give me a follow on Twitter. Please do. It means a lot. Right. So Sky Sport. Arsenal have not given up on signing Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon this January. The Brazilian would cost at least, that means the best line, 30 million euros, that is 25 million pounds. Arsenal are interested in him 2 years ago before he signed for Lyon from Atletico Paranense. That is according to Sky. At least with a price, I can sell a Sky Sport for the price. You have got it wrong. The price is 45 mil. And if you look at his valuation, I'm really surprised that his valuation on transfer market is the same valuation that Lyon are looking at. And we could be lucky. But back in the news. Three options are being explored at the moment, two of them leading the headlines today. Bruno Guimaraes. Let me read for you the second one, and then we discuss. I have something about Saliba as well. Please excuse me. I will give you something about Saliba in this episode as well. But this is again from Sky. Wijnaldum is out injured, but we are told he wants to go back and play in the Premier League, and we keep being told he would like to play for Arsenal. There we are. The midfield situation, we know we are desperate. We know we badly need someone in there. Right? You know, if I was a preacher, I'll be like, get your Bible and pray for a midfielder at Arsenal. That is what I would say. But the whole point, lads, here is Wijnaldum is currently relinked with Arsenal. Again, you know, talks about transfer talks, not really transfers, but transfer rumors, reports are back from a very, very credible source, Sky. And the report from Sky shows that, you know, he wants to be back in the Premier League and he would like to play for Arsenal. Sky have also reported in the same episode that they have not given up, Arsenal have not given up on the prospect of signing in Bruno Guimaraes this January with a deal. Of course, we know the price. They're reporting 30 million euros, but I think Lyon, just to fend off any links with their player, they'll be like, that's the price, 45 million euros. And Romana said it's a difficult one. 45 million euros is what Lyon are asking for, or no deal. So the big question lies is, can we get any of these two? Wijnaldum would be easy, in my opinion. Like, if we want something easy, he would be easy and good. Guimaraes would be hard and very, very good. So, links there. But there is also something about William Saliba here that I would love to share with you, coming in from La Provence in France. And they're saying William Saliba is enjoying himself at Marseille and loves the atmosphere with the group. The player hasn't forgotten everything he suffered in London. With Marseille banned from buying players, Saliba looks set to return to Arsenal in the summer. So, a bit of positive news, right? Some bit of positive news. And I would really love to hear from you now. I would love to hear from you. Do you think we could pull off a miracle? I mean, Arsenal really don't do those miracles in terms of transfers, but do you think we could pull off a miracle? I would love to definitely get your thoughts. And this is what I will do. I'll share a link in the comment section as we discuss. Then you guys can call in and share your thoughts as well. This is a show where you'll be calling in more often. The evening show. You'll be calling in more often. Okay, let me see what you people are saying in the chats. right? Okay, West says you're trying, but try to give us some new news. I mean, it's with transfers. It's all about a little bit of an update, and that is what we discuss. So I've discussed everything around. We've discussed everything around. Everything new. Everything new has been discussed in this episode. And trust me, if there is something new, if there is, I usually do 3 shows a day, but when there is not something new, I mean, I just leave it. I just leave it and then, come back, right? So definitely, if you want anything new, then this was your episode. No Vlahovic, no owner. Owners do not want to spend. I think honestly, lads, with Vlahovic, it was not about the owner. Yeah, with Vlahovic, it was not about the owner. With Vlahovic, it was about where the players' passion, lies. His passion was at Juve. That is where he wanted to go. As a big club, while owners make Arsenal is a big club. It's according to New Way. While owners make us a small club. Tim says, "Hi, Cossy. I can only blame Henry and Wenger who misled us to support this team, and Arsenal can only sign African players with ease because the team is well known here in Africa." Toby says, "Cossy, who are Arsenal? Do Arsenal want to sign now?" I mean, the frustration around the side is much understood. I do understand the frustration, and I've told you I've supported Arsenal throughout the years, and I've been at that receiving end, and that's why social media is a little bit better because it just gives you that kind of voice. It gives you that kind of opportunity to speak for yourself, speak what you think about your club. I always call in on shows. I always listen to shows. I always talk on shows, not only on Cossy. When I get a chance to speak, I do, right? And it just gives you, I mean, that's why I want you guys to start calling in. I'm not sure for Gimares, wait and say, look, we have a very, very, little time left on this window. We don't know what's going to happen. For me personally, I don't know what's going to happen. But I will keep reporting. I will keep reacting to what, and that's why I love 99 Sport, because it just gives me a break from Arsenal. It gives me time to think about other stories, time to think about other clubs, and that's if you want to, a kind of a refreshment, kind of refresh news, then you've got to follow the footballing arena as well. But if you only follow Arsenal, it's going to be tight. Yeah, it's going to be very, very. It's going to be very, very tight. Very tight. Arsenal FC will not buy anyone in this window. Got no money. I mean, I don't know, but I'm still very convinced. We'll see a signing. It could be it could be a transfer loan deal. We never know. It could be a transfer loan deal. I only wish we could do AFCON on this channel. Maybe we would be doing AFCON. But anyway, lads, look, the story is coming out. The story is coming out. There is something about Jonathan David, nothing new. I would have reported about that. The story is coming out at the moment. Just trying to reinforce what is in the market, because now Vlahovic is away. And of course, the mainstream media, they need to put out stories. They will need to put out stories, and they do have the sources, right? So the last 2 stories from Sky, I believe they're authentic. The last 2 stories from The Athletic, I believe they're authentic. There is nothing fake. I think what we call fake is sad news. Is when you're waiting for the signing and then it doesn't come in. That is fake news. But the moment Arsenal signing someone, we are flying. So we've got to work with the dimensions really. But I appreciate, by the way, I really appreciate Arsenal management is a joke. That's according to Raka, and I think that highlights more of the frustration. I would love you guys to call in, by the way. I hope I could just pin this tweet, this comment here on StreamYard. I can. That is that is that is the call that is the link. Call in. I would love to hear from you. I mean, even if it's one or two people, I would love to really hear from you and see what you people are saying. And it says the problem I have with Arsenal is that why did we have to wait for 3 weeks on Vlahovic when the player and his agent body language is saying no to Arsenal? And we've not listen. This is a house that we have not yet cleaned to the fullest. These problems have been here ever since the ascending era. We've not cleaned our house to the fullest. We've not yet done that. Fema says, how far with Melo? When is he having his medical? Arthur Melo, we've agreed personal terms with the player. We've agreed everything with the agent. It's only that question whether we are going to see Juve submit. And I'm very convinced now that that deal will happen, because Juve will need to try to show that after bringing in Vlahovic, they're trying to offload some, they're trying to reduce on their, on their wages. I think they will try to do it in that, in that line. Medicals, I can't say anything about that. I've not received any information about that, but that deal is in the pipeline. James USA says Arsenal should buy Tielemans and Neves. I think both of them would be good, but I don't see that happen. I think it's going to be one of them to replace one of them to replace Xhaka, and it could really be Neves. It could really be Neves, but of course we don't know yet. Yeah, that's it. It's the beauty with transfers. You want desperately, and they desperately happen very slowly. That is transfers. You desperately want them to happen very fast, and they desperately happen very slowly. But anyway, lads, that has been the episode. I hope we can start getting in callers on this show, because it's a show that I want people to start calling in. Honestly, it's a show that I would encourage fun reactions. Cossy, now what is happening with Melo Dale, or do us still have problems in negotiations? Please tell me. Juve is the problem. Juve is the problem. Like Mikel Arteta, put it out. The factors affecting our transfer window are not us, and they are not for us to control. So Juve is, Juve is stalling. The moment they come out and they're open, that deal will gets over the line. I'm pretty sure. Arsenal should buy Bruno Guimaraes and Isak in this window. There's a lot of money. Could we pull off that? Maybe no. I don't think they will give us Melo, because they have already hijacked even Vlahovic. We rather go for Wijnaldum, which would still be a decent one, by the way. Which would still be a very decent one. Hi, Cossy, trust. You're good to me. Arsenal is known to be doing their transfer late to the last minute. Too bad. They need to change from next summer. And when you do late transfers, it just puts you in a very hard situation, very difficult situation. Because look at it now. We are in a very hard situation, by the way. Very hard. According to Sky, Melo is looking for a house in London. Those kind of stories always come out, and I remember last summer there was a story. There was such a story around this boy from Shakhtar, Maynard Solomon. Yeah, if you still remember that story, those stories come out. But I'm optimistic about that. I don't know why I'm very optimistic, but I am optimistic about that, Dale. Very optimistic. Then, lads, make sure you hit the like button, people. It really helps the channel a lot, and it really helps me a lot in terms of finding a new audience and always finding you again, and you guys finding your ways back to the channel again. What do you think who do you think Arsenal will sign in the last days of the transfer window? I think it could be one. I think it could be one deal to do, and it could be a midfielder. It could be a midfielder. A striker is difficult, but a midfielder is doable. So probably a midfielder. We wait to see what happens. My name is Cossy. I'll speak to you tomorrow in the morning. I'll be uploading one early in the morning. I think before midday, we shall have an episode. Then we'll be live at 4, and we'll have this show yet again tomorrow. Why don't you smash the like button and allow me take a rest and speak to you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have an in-depth analysis on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. An in-depth analysis on Dominic Calvert-Lewin on 99 Sport. People who have already subscribed to 99 Sport, you know the quality of the content there. And people who are already subscribed to Cossy's Arsenal podcast, you know our target this year, 100,000 subscribers. We need to do that, lads. We need to do that, honestly. Speak to you right in the next one.